2020 was pretty chaotic, and 2021 isn't looking that good either. We were all divided and told not to socialise. We had political protests and an American coup, and we spent Christmas Day FaceTiming rather than being with our relatives. And one thing that we have, which other historical pandemics don't, is social media. Facebook saw a 50% rise in messaging, and the time we spend on video chatting doubled. We all had that extra time to scroll and scroll and scroll, and in theory that's good. Facebook connected us in a time when we were so divided. But we also saw the negative. We saw an increase of fake news on the platform. People who had these outlandish ideas about the vaccine or the symptoms, which country we should blame, and it can be quite overwhelming when we see that content on our feed. Facebook blame 3 things for the spread of fake news. They blame fraudsters for wanting money, they blame bots for spreading fake news about political opponents, and they blame the fact that as humans, we can't help ourselves but spread lies. And all of their tactics to solve the issue revolve around these perpetrators. They are fact-checking with a charity called Full Fact. They are banning bots. They are also funding a news integrity initiative to help us make better choices with what we share. And with these tactics, Facebook believes that they can get fake news to as close as 0 as possible. Now, with this claim, professionals already have doubts. Data scientist Cathy O'Neill says that categorically, AI systems cannot solve the issue of fake news. They can't register the truth, and they would just be overwhelmed by the quantity of posts. People doubt that, even with the amount of teaching, that humans will stop willfully spreading gossip over the fact, and that the attachment of warning labels will just increase the implied truth effect, where we believe something is true purely because it hasn't got a warning label, when in reality it's never been checked. Now, these issues were not surprising to me. I had always anticipated that Facebook's claims were a little optimistic. But what did surprise me is that how much Facebook's own algorithm is to blame and how unlikely they are to resolve it. The Facebook algorithm is a deeply personal software which closely monitors your activity for crafting the perfect set of posts on your feed. It looks at your interests, where you live, the hour of the day, and what other people are sharing around you. Its function is to keep you on the app longer. And this is important for the fake news debate because fake news is really popular and very engaging. There was an MIT study that said that it spreads 6 times faster than that of true news. And because it's so popular, it's so engaging, Facebook's own algorithm pushes fake news to its consumer. We have seen firsthand people believing in conspiracy theories purely because of the content that their algorithm is giving them, and then they end up in an echo chamber where there's no one else around to disagree. And I'll be honest, when I started this paper, I had very little sympathy for people who believed in conspiracy theories. I thought they were naive and needed to widen their circle and educate themselves. And it's only really when you start looking at the algorithm, you realize these people are almost being set up. There's an article on Facebook talking about how the earth is flat and they read it. And then they go on YouTube, and because they read that article, there's videos about how the earth is flat. Then they go onto Google and type in the earth is, and it auto-completes, the earth is flat. And every direction they are being told this fake news, not from lack of trying, but because of the algorithm. And at a certain point, surely it's human nature that you would start believing it. And I think that's scary. The developer of the YouTube algorithm spoke out about flat earth content, and he essentially said, today it's them, tomorrow it's you. With how this system works, we could be convinced of anything. I don't think Facebook are going to change their algorithm. There is no financial incentive for them to do so because it is working exactly how they designed. They designed it to keep us engaged the longest they could. And it is doing that. And it's doing that with fake news. Without a financial incentive, they're not going to damage how effective their algorithm works, and I don't trust that they would ever do it on an ethical basis. I do believe that the changes they are making could be effective. I think that it's beneficial for consumers to be more informed, and I do think it's a good idea that bots aren't spamming people's feed, but without tackling the main issue of the algorithm, This issue is never going to go away. And as we've seen in this pandemic, it's crucial that people have access to correct information at all times.